Welcome to your front squat tutorial. Now, front squat is slightly different compared to the back squat in that the barbell's not gonna go on the back, it's going to be on the front. It's actually going to sit on the top of the shoulders, which is why we need to have very good shoulder mobility, lat mobility, and wrist mobility to get into this position. So I would have given you a bunch of warm-ups to do before we get into this. The main thing to remember is that our squat stance, where we put our feet, remains the same, okay? This doesn't really change too much between front squat, high bar, and low bar back squats, okay? We always want to be looking at about shoulder width apart and slightly externally rotated toes, okay? So we don't want our feet totally facing forward, we want them out just a little bit. And then the same rules are also going to apply. So we want to have our core locked on, as this is a more demanding position for the core because we are more upright, okay? So with the front squat, the barbell is resting on the shoulders, which means that the elbows have to come up, and ideally they want to stay parallel to the floor. As it gets heavier, you might find that your shoulders are dipping just that slight little bit. We expect that as it gets heavier. But in the beginning, we wanna make sure that our elbows are staying as parallel as possible. You also might find that elevating the heels is a little bit more comfortable if you have some ankle mobility, maybe limitations. Then I would say elevate your heels slightly. You can do that with small little weight plates, like this one I have here. If you need to elevate your heels, you can use one of these small weight plates, set it down behind you. Obviously you're gonna use two. This is going to take the demand out of your ankles just slightly. The other thing to remember about front squat is that the barbell actually really does sit in the crook of your neck quite a lot. So I might cough, you might cough, we all might be coughing a little bit when getting used to this position. If you haven't done this in a long time, you might forget how much it actually pushes into your neck here. Ideally, the higher your elbows are, the more it actually sits on your shoulders, which means it's gonna push into your neck a little bit more. If it's not pushing into your neck at all, I would argue that your elbows are not up high enough, okay? The reason we want the elbows high is that as we go to squat, if our elbows are dipping down, we are going to lose that barbell, okay? So these are all key points that we need to remember. We are going to set up the same as we always would. We want to make sure that we are not going to bump the clips on the way in. So it needs to be set up just low enough that you can get in and out without having to really get underneath it or really have to push yourself up and over it to get the barbell back in place, sorry. All right, hands are going to be just outside of shoulder width. I'm going to get right up to the bar. I'm going to get right into my neck, and then I'm going to get my elbows up as high as I can and then standing straight up. You can see here that the more I need to grip the barbell, the more my elbows are gonna come down. Okay, so if I can only get my fingers around the barbell, that is totally fine. What we don't wanna see is the full grip on the barbell and your hands down here, okay? Because now I'm not resting at all. I'm actually just quite literally holding the weight in my hands. Getting those elbows up really high, taking that slight step back, assuming that squat stance, shoulder width apart, toes slightly externally rotated, keeping those elbows up nice and high. I'm gonna come down, pause at the bottom, and then drive up. Really gets in the neck. Where you look also matters. So if you're looking down, the barbell is quite easily going to head downwards, okay? So you wanna make sure that we are gazing at eye line or just slightly above so that when we are in the bottom of the squat and it's really challenging, we are going to get back up. That is your front squat. If it is very uncomfortable in the neck for you, I'm very sorry. That doesn't change. It just becomes something you get slightly more used to, but it's not very nice for anybody, so I really do apologize. But awesome, awesome movement for the core, awesome movement for the quads, and it's just like pretty boss to be able to do it. So Looking forward to seeing your videos.